Okay, let's get it going. Well, hello guys, once again. Nice to see you this week. How are you doing? How's your week going? Today I'm very excited because we're finally starting a series that I've been meaning to do since the beginning, which was a couple months ago. It's not been that long. Which is, am I the asshole F1 version? Because let's be honest, there's always someone being an asshole or accused of being an asshole going on in the F1 world. So what better way to examine that and decide how we feel about this? Because our opinions are the most important thing. No facts, no reality. Our opinion. As you will see in the title, what we're gonna discuss today is Am I the Asshole? Liam Lawson version. Liam Lawson versus the people. Obviously, I got inspired by the amount of going on regarding Red Bull. At the time of filming, it has been confirmed that Liam will be substituted by Yuki, but by the time you're seeing this, you will know how Yuki did at the Japanese Grand Prix, which I am very curious about. However, that's not what we're coming here to discuss. What we're coming to discuss is the reaction people had to this news. My jaw was on the floor when I was reading. The amount of people that was so strangely happy that he's getting the boot after just 2 races was really eerie to me. So the way people feel about this situation can be summarized in 3 points. 1, there's people that are very happy for Yuki and they think he always deserved that opportunity and they are really excited to see what he's gonna do with it, which I agree. Then there's the people that absolutely hate Red Bull and they don't want to see them try and they think they are absolutely terrible to all their drivers. I agree. Again, they are too political and their car is not as good as they think it is, which I definitely agree. And then on the third hand, there's the people that think that Liam didn't even get a decent chance at Red Bull, like 2 races. We were literally so upset for Jack Doohan and the fact that he only had 5 races to prove himself to Alpine, and then Liam Lawson gets 2 races. So I also gotta agree with that. In general, I agree with all of these attitudes. Did Yuki deserve this chance? Yes. She probably should have gotten it in the first place since he's the most experienced driver. We can agree on that. Does Red Bull suck? Yes, we can agree on that. However, it feels like the point where not a lot of people agree is on whether Liam deserved this to happen to him, like getting the boot after 2 races from his dream team. I think what really inspired me to make this video, what really pissed me off, was seeing the amount of people in the comments being like, well, Liam Lawson hasn't garnered much sympathy in the past, so like, I don't care. Yada yada yada. All things in that line of thought that is, I don't like him, he's rude, he's annoying, he's not a good driver, get him out. That's kind of the sentiment that I've seen in many comment sections about this issue. And personally, as someone that is not a Liam Lawson fan and also not a Liam Lawson detractor, I find those comments infuriating. To understand why, I think we have to go through Liam Lawson's crimes. What are exactly Liam Lawson's crimes that are so terrible that have pushed people to clap during his downfall? Exhibit A, he gave the finger to Checo. Exhibit B, he fought on track and tried to race Checo and Fernando Alonso, and they did not like it. And Exhibit 3, he was talking himself up a lot in interviews, and then when the time came, he didn't prove himself on track. That's it. Those are Liam Lawson's crimes. Then there is also a subsection of people that don't like him because of his girlfriend. If you want to know about that tea, all of it is on my previous video, but basically, Liam Lawson's girlfriend is an anti-vaxxer, and he's quite a controversial figure, so people think if he's dating her, either he's also an anti-vaxxer and a controversial figure, or he doesn't care, and they don't know which one is worse. And like, I get it, but he's not his girlfriend. I'm not saying that's not a valid reason to not vibe with him. Like, you can not vibe with him based on anything, really. It doesn't have to be that serious, but maybe consider not being so mean about it on the internet. So regarding his 3 main crimes, which are the finger, racing Checo and Alonso, and backing himself up on interviews, I only have one thing to say. This is not Formula Best Friend. This is a competition. You're not getting points for being friendly, nice, and likable, you know? And also, oftentimes winners and drivers that are considered really good, they are all kind of cocky and they have like this temperament and they are really risky during races and they are known for like being a little bit rough around the edges, a little bit full of themselves. But when it comes to that kind of people, we accept that behavior and maybe even like them more because of it, because they have proven themselves, so we think they are deserving of acting this way. So obviously, in your mind, you see Liam behaving this way and you say, he doesn't deserve it. He has done nothing to prove himself, therefore before, how is he acting this way? So I just want people to think about it for a second and decide, is it really so terrible to have these attitude problems, or is it not? Like, make up your mind. But I understand that the reason why people act this way is that they don't think Liam has proven himself. Like, he cannot be acting like that with those results, you know? But first of all, acting like that, I think like his attitude problems are very mild. Like, sure, everyone has different standards for what's acceptable and what's not acceptable and what's politically correct and what is polite. But like, he's getting substituted by Yuki, who's known to be a driver that's very temperamental and that has a lot of attitude problems, to the point in which it was one of the reasons why they did not want him on the team. So like, Yuki can have attitude problems, but Liam cannot. And just in general, it's not just Yuki, like, we've seen way worse from people. But like, Max? I'm sure Max done worse. Alonso? And no one's here saying, get them out of the screen. I mean, most people are not. I actually went on Reddit to try to find an answer to why people are so happy that Liam Lawson's getting the boot and why they dislike him and what terrible thing he's done to deserve all of this. And I found this comment that I resonated a lot with from C Blacksmith 4397. They say, Max pushed Ocon, Russell hit Bottas with his helmet, Schumacher ... Honestly, I could go on and on. The middle finger, in my opinion, doesn't even make it into top 100 disrespectful moments in F1. And I agree with that sentiment. Like, is it really that serious? I don't think it is. Like, I'm not saying he's this perfect little angel and he has never done a bad thing his entire life. What I'm saying is that he's young and he's new and he's got not a lot of opportunities but a lot of things to prove. So yeah, he can come across as a little bit of a jackass. Maybe he is a little bit of a jackass. Is that a crime? And then about the point that he's acting this way even though he's kind of not great, I found another comment on Reddit that resonated with me, this time from Objective Peace 8256. They say, sure, he's not performing, but Max is barely holding on and putting it on the front row by simply being Max Verstappen. Checo fans and Yuki fans really should ask yourselves, can your driver put it on the front row like Max? I guess we will see in the Japanese Grand Prix, but I find it very unlikely. And I thought it was kind of cute that in an interview Yuki said that Red Bull promised him that if he's in front of Max, he doesn't have to switch seats. And it's like, why do you think they promised that? Because it's very unlikely. And they know it. They know this car is undrivable by anyone but Max. But that's not what we're discussing today. Bringing it back to the Liam point, if the line between what's acceptable behavior and what's not acceptable behavior is the driver's pace or their performance, I don't think we have enough proof to say that Liam doesn't deserve to act this way. Like, sure, he didn't bring the results on the Red Bull. Will Yuki bring results in the Red Bull? Could anyone other than Max bring results in the Red Bull? If the answer is yes, okay. We will see, we shall see, but we don't know right now. We don't know. If we look at the data that we have from last year when Yuki and Liam were like were teammates, they were pretty much head to head. Like, yes, sure, Yuki was slightly better, slightly more successful than Liam, but Yuki has years and years of experience in that specific car, and Liam was just thrown in midway the season with no experience whatsoever. So like, it's not the same, and he did pretty good. He outscored him in multiple occasions. If Liam had the years and years of experience that Yuki has, who knows what the results would have been? It's really not that hard to grasp. And then I guess there's also the possibility that you don't condemn this behavior at all. You don't like Liam, but you also don't like Yuki, you don't like Max, you don't like people with an attitude, period. Okay, from what I am standing, and my biggest question to everyone that's so angry about this, have you done better? Like, I would love to see a report of everyone that's so upset, everyone that's calling him out, and see their behaviors throughout their lives. You've never ever given anyone the finger, never, or anyone you love. All your loved ones are perfect angels, and they have never given anyone the finger, and they were never disrespectful to anyone. They are always super polite, because otherwise they would be cancelled. See how it doesn't make sense? You wouldn't even know if your loved one gave the finger to someone on the street today. You wouldn't know, because it's not that deep. It's not that relevant. At least I don't think it is. And also, even if someone is a little bit of an ass sometimes, does that mean they don't deserve empathy at all, ever in their lives? I think people deserve sympathy, even if they are not always at their utmost, most polite selves, because no one is. People deserve kindness because they are human beings. And this young man has fought really hard his entire life for this opportunity, and it's been taken away from him after 2 races. That is heartbreaking. And the fact that people are clapping, y'all are mean. Imagine working your entire life towards something and then have it stripped away from you in 2 weeks. Not only is that soul crushing, but then the entire world is saying that they don't care and that you deserve it. See, it's not nice. And I know this is the internet and people assume that you don't need to be nice and you don't need to be polite. The call is coming from inside the house. You yourself are not nice and polite. So what are you saying about Liam with your big stinky mouth? Like, sure, giving the finger to another driver is disrespectful. It is disrespectful, but it's not the end of the world. No one died. And I don't even think it means he's got no sportsmanship. Like, we wouldn't say that about the other drivers. And is there really any driver that's never ever been disrespectful? That's been perfectly polite and lovely at all times? Be it to other drivers, to their teams, to the engineers, to the press, to the fans? I don't think that's possible. I don't think so. Like, F1 is a life or death sport. We forget it, but these people are putting their lives on the line. And for these people, a single mistake on track can lead to losing everything you've spent your entire life working for, including your own life. The stakes are always incredibly high. Tension is always incredibly high, yet people act as if it was to be expected that they would be perfectly polite and logical and kind, as if they were having tea with the queen. Like, one of these things is not like the other. And I think there's a lot of bias going into this situation because, like, we can all agree the new FIA rules about swearing, they are not okay. They're silencing the drivers, and this sport is tense and it's tough, and they are in super intense situations in which it's normal that they might swear. So we can all agree on that. We can all say we don't like this new rule. However, the exact same reasons that we're using to justify that we don't like this rule are ignored when discussing the fact that Liam Lawson is not the devil reincarnate. Make it make sense. Like, are you gonna be complaining about the new FIA regulation and then turning around and pointing your finger at Liam? I'm judging. And not feel any empathy for him when he's getting sacked after 2 races? I'm judging. And also, driving a car that's been basically proven undrivable by any driver that is not 4-time world champion Max Verstappen. Like, y'all are infuriating and hypocritical. F1 is a tough sport, and new drivers get very little chances. The last thing they need is for a bunch of damasses to be celebrating their downfall. I think there's a lot to say about the numbness culture that's going on in the F1 fandom. The amount of dehumanization that we're putting these drivers through. Like, not that long ago, Lando was getting obliterated over being weak mentally, which are such big words to throw at someone you don't know when you see a 1% of what their mindset is like. And also, if you think that's the case, if you think he's mentally weak and his mental health is a problem, why are you commenting about it publicly, throwing this at him as if that was not going to affect him even more? It makes no sense. And it's not only about Lando, and it's not only about Liam, but what about Max? Max has been hated on for years and years for not playing the media game, when in reality, let's be honest here, people hate him because he wins. And they think that Max winning makes the sport boring. Period. And we're not even gonna start unpacking the Lance Stroll box, because has this man ever have anything positive said about him on the internet? Ever, by anyone, even once? Has that happened? I'm not sure. Overall, I think people in the F1 fandom care way too much about things that are not that relevant, which is fine. You can care about anything you want. Just be freaking nice. Like, being an asshole through the internet doesn't absolve you from the fact that you're being an asshole. The amount of studies that are being made about people's behavior online. For example, I found this article on Forbes discussing the same issue that says, and I quote, that there is a 2023 study that found that individuals with negative and unstable self-perceptions are drawn to anonymity and seek the freedom to take a different persona online to satisfy various needs. Individuals struggling with self-consciousness and low self-esteem also prefer to remain anonymous online. So, y'all are telling on yourselves. Just because your life is miserable and you have no confidence doesn't give you a right to be an ass to others, to be so unpleasant, to say it nicely. Another part that I thought was interesting in this article says, a 2022 study publishing Personality and Individual Differences examined the relationship between online anonymity and the following dark personality traits: Machiavellism, psychopathy, and most importantly, sadism, which is what I want to get into now. According to the 2023 study, sadism is positively associated with preferring an anonymous presence online to fulfill the need to enjoy others' suffering, safely behind the screen. So yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for everyone to be Mother Teresa of Calcutta in here, you know? I'm just advocating for you to save your negativity for private spaces, private accounts, conversations with friends. Put it somewhere when it's not going to reach the people you're talking about, because they are still people, crazy, and they see the stuff we put online way more than we think they do. If we all just kept our negative, compulsive thoughts to ourselves, this fandom would be a much healthier place. And as I was saying, you don't need to like Liam. You don't need to like or dislike any of the drivers. You don't have to have an opinion about their personalities because you don't know them. Yes, we don't. We know the tiniest bit about them. But if you do have an opinion, which is fine to have, you can choose to not put it in their faces and showing them how much you dislike them. I promise you it will not kill you. And like, if you want to be part of the F1 fandom, if you want to participate in the online community, that's great. That's what I'm doing too. But I think you can take that longing and put that energy into supporting the drivers you do like, or talk about things you care in the sport without ruining anyone's day. It's not that you cannot give your opinion on Liam Lawson's performance. It's just a matter of discussing it with respect and nuance. A word that is very overused, but it's still true. You can criticize Liam's performance without expressing the amount of happiness I've seen online at him getting the boot. You can say that Lando is not world champion material to you without weaponizing his mental health on the process, which once again, let's say it together, you don't know anything about his mental health. Nothing. You know what is being shown to you, which is not even a 1% of their lives. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is important for you to understand. There's so much space online to share your F1 opinions, to have conversations about F1, maybe even uncomfortable conversations. There's space for creativity. Fandom doesn't need to be a space that's constantly under a very dark, negative cloud. It can be a good place. You can celebrate Yuki's great opportunity without being mean to Liam. I know I do. I'm very happy, and I also think that Yuki was the best option from the beginning. However, I'm not gonna go and say, I'm not gonna go online and be annoying about it on Liam's comments. My personal feelings about Liam is that I don't know where he's going, but I am curious to know how it's gonna go and how far he's gonna go. So I will continue watching, and I will continue giving my opinion on this platform, that it's not a safe space for haters. Okay, that was all for this week. So to answer the good old question, am I the asshole? The people versus Liam Lawson, I'm gonna say Liam Lawson, not the asshole. The people, more likely to be the asshole than they think. And that's it. If there's any other assholery that you want to discuss, let me know in the comments. If you hate Liam Lawson for more legitimate reasons than what I have found online, also tell me in the comments, being polite, please. And other than that, yes, like, subscribe, and I will see you next week for another one.